So this was a while ago, around February. I'm pretty sure some of you have heard of this, and it's about George Soros. Now, just in case anyone doesn't know who Soros is, he's this evil 80-year-old, all wrinkled up, billionaire, decrepit old man who, he will be your typical James Bond villain, or I also will consider him as the Joker, only without, the face paint. Wherever he goes, he's like purely evil. He funds a lot of these social justice warrior organizations. He funds all the anti-Trump rioters. He funds neo-Nazi groups to discredit the right. He even funds Black Lives Matter. But anyway, I digress. Soros recently wrote this, where he said, Putin is a bigger threat to Russia than ISIS. Now, I explained earlier, George Soros funds all opposition groups, especially against the alt-right, and like I said earlier, Soros is this billionaire socialist villain. He influences us because he is the large donor of all donations that come into our presidential elections, both on the Democrats and the Republican Party. He buys politicians. He buys Hillary Clinton, Marco Rubio, Jeb Bush. There was an attempt to even buy Cruz, etc. He buys all these politicians and tries to get them to do what he wants. He just buys them and then just gets them to do anything. Because have you ever noticed Hillary Clinton, Rubio, and the entire establishment are so obsessed with going to war with Russia? And everyone's like, what? Why go to war with Russia? Why the fuck? Have they ever attacked us? I don't think so. Why a war with Russia? They're not doing shit to us, and it's because Soros wants it. And if you read this article below the description, he originally intended for the U.S. policy that we were to overthrow Syria. So Barack Obama ended up funding this moderate terrorist organization that turned out to be ISIS. Many of them were members of the FSA, even though many of them are ISIS-sympathizing radicals. All the fund that our government gives to them, they split it with ISIS. And Russia finally had enough, and he began to bomb ISIS. Now, see, we should be happy for that because, like I said, ISIS are the ones killing us. But see, no, because that interferes with the establishment's plan in overthrowing Assad, because that is exactly what Soros wants. So now Soros has the goal to say that the people creating these refugees that are invading Europe, sexually assaulting women, attacking people, and blowing things up, but George Soros is lying and playing the victim by saying, no, goy, don't think it's me, even though I'm the one funding these organizations to bring in the refugees. It's evil Russia. He's bombing ISIS, and it's scaring these poor Syrians to come into Europe and raping you. Go to war with Russia. Another thing Mr. Soros fears is the EU. So that way, white Western nations could lose their identity in Europe due to his hatred of Europeans and his hatred of the West. And now that he sees the EU breaking apart, he's worried, yet his plan succeeded in letting these migrants in Europe. But now that he sees that it's threatening his structure, he's trying to blame Russia, even though he was the asshole who advocated that all this time all the refugees go into Europe. And finally, you're probably wondering, why does Soros hate Putin and Russia so bad? Because Putin didn't want Soros's organizations coming into Europe like famine and chainsawing crosses, desecrating churches, and George Soros funds these groups, but Putin told him, keep his ass out of Russia and keep all his useless leftist organizations out. So now Soros is all like, Putin is the real bad guy, goy. I'm glad even Hungary is standing up to Soros and realizing that he's a menace and an enemy to human civilization. But yeah, so Soros claims that we need to fight Russia, but no. In fact, Donald Trump, when you become president, send the Navy SEALs to this man's house. Talk to you guys later.
Our sponsor, Mr. George Soros.
We must spill the blood of the white devils. The time has come to erode the borders of Europe and exterminate the white race once and for all.